Hey everyone, happy Thanksgiving and welcome to a new episode of Games I Speak. I'm
And I'm
Gio.
Josie.
And yeah, we hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, Josie.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, let's jump right in. This week was kind of slow because it was a holiday. Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people
so
are traveling and
yeah,
Thanksgiving and mostly people are focused more on sales rather than any kind of new information.
exactly. So I was digging hard to find what to talk about today, but I found some stuff. So let's jump in. So first up, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia's charity organization has purchased a large stake at SNK with the hopes of reaching majority status, which is 51%. So this kind of came out of nowhere. um, no one really expected this to happen, but I'm just kind of go through. So basically, I read in. So this is by Eurogamer. But
Okay.
I read in another article, he said that he sees fighting games as like a growth market, I guess, in the Middle East.
Yes.
So they purchased 33.3% of SNK shares um, for around 490 million. I think that's pounds.
Yes.
Um, so they're planning to buy another 17.7% of the shares
Holy moly.
so that they reach 51%. Now, you remember in 2016 a Chinese company bought like 80% of SNK. Do you remember that?
No, actually I don't recall, but what happened? Did anything happen out of that?
Yeah, Sam Show, the new Samurai Showdown happened out of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's a step in the right direction, I would say.
Yes, but this is controversial because um and this article goes into depth about it, but he's accused of being part of the assassination of a Washington
Oh,
Post.
Khashoggi.
Exactly, and I don't know if you read into that, but it was very disturbing what
Yes.
happened to him. Um, so I read the comments from this article, and it was all people like, "I'm done with SNK," if this is the case. So um, this is how I stand. I think SNK is going to get a lot of blowback from Western gamers. That's what I think.
Well,
Um,
Western gamers in the know.
in the know, yeah, which is a lot, which is a lot of the Western gamers. So, um, there was a really good documentary on the whole Khashoggi thing on PBS Frontline, and it was very disturbing. And so, me personally, I think the money infusion, as long as he doesn't get too hands on, will help SNK kind of build up their catalog again.
Yes.
But the controversy that he brings along with him is not good for the image of the company whatsoever.
Gotcha.
Um, in the Western market, I don't know about the rest of the world though. Honestly, I don't know.
Hmm.
Because Khashoggi, he was a U.S. based journalist, and Americans are very, very heated when it comes to any kind of attack on journalism. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's my feeling, my personal feeling that there's just enough games in the world for me to not have to have a moral dilemma in purchasing a game in the future from SNK. So that's where I stand right now. I mean, how do you feel about it?
This is such a loaded topic.
It is, and I don't want to get political, but
Yeah, but
just
you are.
but yes, but you can't help it. I mean, the guy is a super controversial figure, and
Uh,
you know,
I think in general, I kind of base the product on its own rather
yes,
than kind of relegating it to specifically the actions of whomever's producing it or creating it. Um, a few examples. One of my favorite movies is Rosemary's Baby.
hmm
I love Harry Potter, and J.K. Rowling has come out with some very questionable things.
yes,
So,
but there's a difference between that and ordering the assassination of a journalist. That's where I stand. There's like a limit, like
gotcha.
yeah, there,
But
so
at the same time, I mean, like he is from what I can understand, he is a producer. He's funding money. He's funneling money into whatever SNK is creating.
yes, yeah,
So at the end of the day, the people that are creating this are taking the money that is being given from this source and creating something. So like
yeah,
Sam's Show or King of Fighters, any kind of SNK property is still being created by its Japanese creative team. So
exactly,
and even then in that regard, you have all these people that are working to create these products.
yes, yeah.
So
It's
I
a
mean
tough one. It's a
so
tough one.
yeah, like I said, I haven't even purchased the new Sam show, and I want to.
It's
I just
good.
haven't I just haven't gotten around to it.
It's good,
Yeah.
man. It's a great game. I love it.
So I mean, it's a case by case basis.
Yes.
I'd have to see.
And I want to say something here. I express my opinion for you all because I feel like
It creates
that,
conversation.
yeah. And it would be disingenuous of me to pretend that I don't have an issue with him. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But that being said, I'm the kind of person that doesn't bully anyone else to holding my opinion. So if they made a good game using this money and you, the viewer, or you, Josie, bought it, I wouldn't hold that against you at all. So I just want to make that clear with everyone. This is my own personal decision.
Yeah, I think we can both agree in that regard
Yeah.
that no matter what opinions we hold, as long as like you're not actively harming someone,
Yes.
you're more than well within your right to hold that opinion and but also be challenged as well.
Exactly. Yep. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way because that was the heaviest piece of news today. All right. So next up, I have some cool news. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is now the highest selling Mosu game, selling over 3 million copies worldwide. So let me put on the translation so you can
Yeah, I
see.
was about to say.
um, so this is cool, man. This is pretty cool.
Yes. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, yeah, but I haven't beat in the definitive version yet of the older Hyrule Warriors game.
Yes.
So once I'm done with that, I'll move on to Age of Calamity.
Well, just a heads up. I mean, the Hyrule Warriors is kind of like a best of, like a what if type scenario, while Age of Calamity actually has lore slash story significance to the Breath of the Wild uh, overall overarching mythos.
Yeah, yeah, they're not related in that sense, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And from
um,
what I understand, even gameplay wise, Age of Calamity does a number of unique things that hasn't been seen in Muso games, which is awesome.
yeah, yeah, and so this is my takeaway from it. I believe that this game, so the definitive edition when it came out, it kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people because a lot of people aren't familiar with Mosu games. Younger people our age, we're familiar with them.
Yes.
The Warriors games being the most prominent of those. But I think this is like this game is kind of like a resurgence for the series, and it's bringing in a lot of people into the Mosu type games that haven't experienced them before. I mean, what
Yes.
do you think?
No, no, I completely agree. Actually, our mutual friend John, who has been on the podcast,
Yes.
he's by and large never been a fan of the Muso games.
Hmm.
I think he's told me, and I could be misquoting him, but he said that it's not a game that is completely respectful of your time.
Yes.
There's a lot of, let's say, bloat within those games,
There's a lot of grinding.
and yeah, but at the same time, like that's kind of like what the game is, you know?
Yes.
So the people that buy those games know what they're getting into and usually enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people.
Yes.
One of my favorite Muso games is actually the Fist of the North Star Muso, and
Oh,
I just recently enjoyed the beating the Berserk Muso.
okay.
And I haven't played the Attack on Titan one, but I was playing Hyrule Warriors, and that's a lot of fun too. Um, but it is what it is. It's not like, I'm in it for all its depth.
Yeah.
But the changes and also using this property as a launching off point for a successful Muso game, I think that's awesome. And I
Yeah.
hope that there's more to come. If anything, there's that other one, Persona 5 Scramble, which is based off of the Persona 5
Yeah.
JRPG. Like, I'm excited to see what that's going to bring to the table as well. So hopefully, this kind of lights a fire under Koei Tecmo, and they're able to kind of take maybe more risks or
Yeah.
align themselves with different properties in creative ways.
Yeah. And evolve the series.
Yes,
Yeah. So, do you remember my old roommate Jin?
yes,
Yeah. So he loved Mosu games. He loved the Warriors games.
yeah, they're
And
super fun. Dynasty
yeah.
Warriors 4 is one of my favorite games, and it was mostly because I played it with our mutual friend Jay.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and we loved the hell out of that.
yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
tromping around in elephants and
Yeah.
killing people.
So, for people who are unfamiliar, the Xbox 360 actually had a bunch of Warriors games on it. I'm sure PlayStation might have as well, but the ones on the Xbox are the ones I remember. And
Yeah.
Jin used to always tell me, he was like, man, these games really reduce my stress. It was like his stress reliever game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's kind of like mindless action, but
Yes.
but you're still like, doing things. You're beating large armies, so it's like it feels that it's a power fantasy at the same time,
Yeah.
and it's not as stress inducing or anxiety ridden as something like, let's say, Demon Souls.
Exactly. Although funny enough, I actually don't get I get stressed out when I play Demon Souls, but not really. I don't feel it in my body.
Interesting.
My heart rate is still low and I'm relaxed when I play them. So, I guess I'm a weird anomaly when it comes to
Well, what about when you're invaded?
no, I don't stress out.
Wow. Because
Yeah.
honestly, especially in Demon Souls, this new remake, I actually was very keenly aware that my heart rate was rising and I was getting kind of stressed out
Yeah.
when I was invaded because I don't know, the netcode is better in this one and I got invaded quite often.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I'd be like, oh crap, I got to get to a place. Where's this guy? Or maybe I got to hide, be clever, because I was low on healing items or something like that. What have you?
Yeah, I got invaded 3 times in a row the other day and I murdered them all in like a minute.
Congrats, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
But but that was after I exploited to level 99, so I'm sure that had something to do with
You
it.
mean 999?
999. Okay. All right. Next up. So this is pretty weird. Former soccer icon David Beckham has signed a 40 million pound deal with EA Sports to be in FIFA games for the next 3 years.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So let me kind of go through some points here. Um, so this is one of the biggest deals I've ever seen to add one character to a video game. Have you ever seen anyone paid this much?
I mean, no, this is god levels of money.
Yes. And other players were upset by this and started wanting to demand money from EA for their license.
I mean,
That's
that's
what's
how
going to
it works,
happen.
doesn't it?
Yeah. So here's my thing. So does this improve the game at all for the players? I don't think so.
Well, here's the thing. You, you have to put yourself in the mindset of the people like all these people that love football slash soccer,
Yeah.
and any kind of sports game where they want their players, they want to use the players that they love. And I mean, David
Yes.
Beckham has a lot of fans out there,
Yeah.
and those fans would be more than happy, you know, here's the thing. I'm talking out of my ass here. I don't even know if he's never been featured. Like
No, he has.
like
He,
okay.
yeah, but it was a long time ago. He was in a FIFA game.
Okay, so wait, what happened since then? He
He
wasn't
owns.
featured.
So basically, he became a model, and he started his own company. And
Okay,
he's
so he
based
owned the rights to his likeness and he didn't sell it until now.
exactly.
Okay.
He's a money making machine. You know what he is? He's the Floyd Mayweather of football.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so like then as a fan, I would say certainly it would make a difference for them to be able to finally use one of their coveted players
Yeah.
in the game that they love. Now, my question though is what about all the recent dealings in terms of legal matters that EA's been facing with loot boxes?
Yes.
I
So,
mean, nothing has really, nothing solid has come out of it. There's a lot of, they're still in court over loot boxes, but a lot of their bread and butter in terms of money coming out of these games comes from loot
all
boxes.
right. So, can you explain the whole loot box issue to everyone?
So loot boxes or microtransactions are what EA calls surprise mechanics. And these surprise mechanics are kind of like, to use a European term, Kinder eggs.
Mm, yeah.
Kinder, Kinder eggs or gachapon in Japanese terms. And this is kind of like when you go to any kind of 25 cent or 50 cent vending machine
Yeah.
that has like those different colored balls. And they might have characters that you want,
Yep.
but you don't know which one you're going to get. That's what these surprise mechanics are. And
It's like
EA,
lottery. It's like the lottery.
yes, it's like lottery,
Yeah.
or as a lot of legal channels are calling it, gambling.
Yes.
And EA has monetized this in such a way that they've created their own, uh, what's it called? Oh, what's the word? Currency. They've created
Casino.
their own currency, so you actually don't know how much money you're spending, how much real world money you're spending unless you do the math,
Yes.
which isn't that difficult, but
No.
still, just saying when you take the association of real world money with a different kind of currency, you don't see the value inherent to
No.
that currency.
No.
So, anyways, long story short, they've created their own entire economic system where they take advantage of players by
Especially
charging,
kids.
especially children,
Yeah.
by charging them real world money for digital items,
Yeah.
and not at the same time not guaranteeing what items they might receive.
Okay. So that's a perfect explanation. I couldn't have explained it better myself. So so there's that backlash. And
Yes.
then let me go into the backlash of FIFA. So due to the coronavirus, a lot of people, a lot of game companies have had issues with their development, meeting their development times. Cyberpunk is a perfect example.
Yes.
Um, so what's going on is FIFA, instead of building a whole new, updated FIFA experience, they basically like repackaged FIFA 2020 and just updated the roster.
And it's not limited only to FIFA. They've also done this with their other sports licenses like
Yes.
Mad or UFC, I believe.
Yeah, UFC was horrible. There was really no major upgrade to the graphics or anything. Um, but on the flip side, do you know? Do you remember Winning 11 or PES?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Pro Evolution Soccer.
yeah.
That's
They
Konami.
yes, Konami. they released a $20 add-on to their 2020 game that just updates the whole roster. And
And
people,
I
yeah,
think that's
yeah, that's very fair.
yeah.
And people were praising him for it. So that was the big backlash that EA had in the soccer game community. And so my opinion on this whole David Beckham thing is they're trying to woo back the customers they might have lost. Yeah. Yeah. So it's definitely a complicated issue. I mean, we're not soccer
Well,
players, so we're not in the know. So if anyone out there is watching this and you're like a big time soccer game player, let us know in the comments what you think is going on.
well, I haven't even seen like a Pez in a while, and as long as EA has a monopoly over these sports titles, like they own the rights to these
Yeah.
franchises, unfortunately, the like any kind of fan is relegated to just playing that. If they want to play their sports games, this is as much as they can do. Same thing with NBA.
Yes. You're right. You're not wrong.
So it's like again, it lies on the power of the dollar, and you got to vote with your wallet.
Yes. So if you feel like they're not giving you what you paid for, then look at Pez, because from what I've heard, a lot of people were appreciative of what Konami did there. All right, next up, the president of Square Enix. I am horrible with Japanese names.
Um,
Yosuke Matsuda confirmed that Square Enix will not abandon Marvel's Avengers after huge losses. Now, I can't remember if I covered this. This damn ad.
yeah, I know, right?
I can't remember if I covered
I
this.
literally told you last week. I said last week, ad blocker, and
I
you just don't.
forgot.
You never learn.
I
You never
forgot.
learn. Never learn.
Um, so this is. Let me just go into a little detail here for the
Yeah.
people who are unaware of what happened with Marvel's Avengers. So Marvel's Avengers is reportedly in the hole by $40 million. That's a lot of money. So that's how much money they lost on the development since they launched.
Yes.
They have lost over 90% of their player base months after the launch of the game. So the Square Enix president is basically vowing that they're going to recoup their losses by adding more exclusive content for the players, right? Now, did you play the beta or the game at all?
Nothing about it interested me.
Okay, so I played the beta for like a couple hours,
Yes.
and to me, the game seems stale and uninspiring. So
Okay.
here's my question. They're just going to put in additional content? Is that really going to fix the issue if the issue is a issue of their core gameplay where players just don't find the game fun? Now that is a more serious issue and that is much harder to fix. So, I mean, what do you think?
Uh, so a little history lesson. Not to make a. I'm gonna make a long story long.
Okay.
But so when I first heard about Square Enix Avengers, I was actually super excited. We talked about this in a previous podcast.
Hmm.
And then when I actually saw what they were doing and who was heading it, I believe IDOS Montreal, I was actually incredibly disappointed. And I may be in the minority here, but I really love Kingdom Hearts,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I was expecting some wacky Japanese goodness with the Avengers property.
Oh, that would have been a hit.
But instead, it's very basic, unfortunately. And I don't want to diss Eidos Montreal because I really enjoyed Deus Ex,
Hmm.
Human Revolution. Mankind Divided was okay, but it's like half a game.
Yeah.
Like I'm still waiting for the next half of that game. Um, but they're great developers. But nothing about the Avengers game was any at all interesting to me. That being said, that being said, if they were able to bring back Final Fantasy 14 and they and like by finding by kind of like revitalizing that entire game by destroying the original
Yeah.
one. I think they could do something like that and have it story based, tied to the Avengers, to the Marvel Avengers platform.
Yeah.
Example: if they entice players with an end game level event in game,
Hmm.
end game in game, if they can entice players with that kind of event and then revitalize the game in meaningful ways, I'm looking at something like No Man's Sky,
Hmm.
or like I said, or example Final Fantasy
Yeah.
14, and even what was it? Another game we were talking about that's kind of like turning it around for people. I think isn't Fallout 76 turning it around
Yeah.
for people
Fallout
too?
76. Yeah.
So historically speaking, we do have these games that are turning things around. I think the possibility is there.
Yes.
The possibility is totally there. And but the thing is that are they okay with continuing to kind of feed this property with money when they're incurring such losses?
You make a good point. Um, but you're also right. It has to be a fundamental change to the game. You can't just
Yeah.
throw new content at it and expect it to work.
No, and
Yeah.
that's why I said an end game level event. The end game would be destroying all of the original
Yeah.
content, like something where the Avengers lose, and then in the ashes of whatever has been destroyed, they uh the game, to use a DC term, has a rebirth.
Yes. Yeah. Um, yeah. You bring up a good kind of method for doing that. Tie it into the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Like have Galactus or something, just like destroy things. Or of course Thanos is the easy pull, but I'm just saying, like,
yeah. So yeah, I would say I commend them for not giving up so quickly.
yes.
But this is a hard problem. I hope they fix it because I don't like to see anyone who's involved in a game kind of just it all fall apart on them. I don't like to see that.
Of course
Yeah.
not. And I mean, I like I said, Eidos Montreal, they're good developers. So, I think they have it in them, but I think there might be something that's keeping them back, especially in terms of not being able to use the likenesses of the film counterparts. Kind
Yeah.
of hurts
Yes. Yeah.
because everyone looks kind of like a B movie version of
Yeah.
the actual people. It's
Yeah.
like it's
It,
jarring.
it is. And they all have different voices and everything's weird. Yeah. All right. Um, next up. Um, so the Xbox head Phil Spencer says that he dislikes the console wars and console brand tribalism. So let me kind of get into what he means here. So he hates the idea of the console wars. He doesn't want to see other creative endeavors fail for the success of his own company, right?
Yes.
And he thinks Xbox is competing with the market as a whole, not just the other consoles or developers. So here's the thing. I think he's 100% right, but I also think that's his personal opinion. And I think as someone who works and is beholden to Xbox, he has to do whatever it takes to make them successful. That's my opinion.
Of course.
So what do you think about that? Do you think he's right?
I think console wars exist no matter what. Well, at least from the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis days.
Yeah.
As far back as that, I guess, as far back as you have a choice for things.
Yes.
Let's take console wars back to VHS and Betamax,
Yeah.
8 tracks and tape cassettes. But like, I don't know.
It's an ideal position.
It
It's an ideal
it
position.
is an ideal position, and he's definitely pivoting. He's trying to change the conversation. He's trying to do the Mad Men situation. If you don't like the if you don't like the conversation, you change the topic or something like that.
Hmm.
And I feel like he's just it feels like he's like being a little pretentious, like Xbox is above everything.
Yes, yeah, which
And
is not.
no offense, because
Yeah.
I mean it is an admirable thought to not have like
Yes.
these console wars. But at the same time, as long as there's exclusives, as long as there's choices, people will argue which one's better, and will say, you've wasted your money on an
Yeah.
iPhone versus an Android. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's integral. It's part of human nature.
Yeah.
That
And
being
that
said, oh, go ahead.
no, 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 go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was going to say, that being said, Xbox is definitely pivoting themselves to being different than a console, and they're trying to what's it called? Change the entire playing field
Yes.
in a way that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
A good example is, I think, Sony. Sony with the PSP Go tried to change everything and say, "Hey, look, it's an all digital system. It's easier to save things on the flash drive. It's going to load better." It didn't sell well. It didn't
Yeah.
pick up. They did the same thing with and then they had the connectivity between the PS Vita and the PlayStation 4 that is incredibly reminiscent of the Nintendo Switch. But
Yes.
it was before its time, and they didn't push that idea far enough
No.
and didn't own it until the Switch did what they did. So it's
Yeah.
like
A lot
Xbox,
of people didn't even know they could play the games on the PS Vita.
yes,
A lot of
yeah.
people had no clue.
Yeah, exactly. You could do
Yeah.
remote playing, not in the same way that the Switch can, but
Yeah.
very similar in terms of actually having just a strong Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah.
Anyways, but Xbox is trying to do kind of like the same thing, but they're completely taking ownership and trying to usher the entire community along and saying, "Join us as we go into the future," in
Yeah.
such a way that these other companies, when they tried to push the community in different ways, haven't done before.
Yes. No, I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you. And I'm gonna cover that that video we were talking about, the modding of the Xbox Series S.
Hey,
Yeah.
nice.
So we can
Yeah, I
talk
saw
about
a video.
just how expanded Xbox is thinking here. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just saw a video pop up from Spawnwave about the Xbox Series X playing GameCube games. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah. All right. Next up. So, all right. This is weird. I saw this yesterday actually. Basically, apparently users they have a PS5. They're logging in with a new account, and then they're redeeming all the PlayStation collection games,
Yes.
and then they're reselling that account on eBay. So this is mostly taking place in Hong Kong, and Sony has basically taken action and banned thousands of accounts for doing this. Now, as far as I understand, this is a feature, right? It's not really an exploit in the sense of like a coding exploit. This is how it's supposed to work. Just you're not allowed to resell that account with all those games. And they were selling it for like $10 a piece or something cheap, right?
Interesting.
But
That's less than a PlayStation Plus subscription.
yes. So my whole thing is I don't think this will hurt Sony at all because most people are trying to upgrade to a PS5 regardless. So they're going to get the games anyways. But they just see it as like, you know, people getting over on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're trying
Yeah.
to, for lack of a better term, game the system.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think it's a big issue for Sony. I think they're fully within their rights to ban those accounts. But the PlayStation Collection is awesome. I have to
Yep.
say that. That's why they're doing it, because it's a damn good games in there.
Yes.
Yeah. All
You
right.
can't fault Sony for not having awesome exclusives.
Exactly. All right. Uh, so this is a topic that a lot of people are having trouble with. So,
This is great.
um, can we talk about how out of control PlayStation 5 scalping has become? So let's look at this. A scalper group says it has no regrets over reselling 3,500 PS5 consoles. Almost 3,500 PS5 consoles. So, for those that don't know, this is a company called Crep Chief Notify. And essentially, I'll give everyone like a, since I'm a programmer, I can tell you how it works. So essentially, users log into their website, create an account, and they pay a membership fee, right? And that membership fee gives them access to bots, all right? And those bots allow them to kind of set up alerts and notifications and set up auto purchases of whatever retailer they're trying to go to, right? So what's happening here is their users are setting up auto purchase of the PlayStation 5. So the moment the PlayStation 5 goes on sale, they purchase it quicker than any human can purchase it. So that's all that's happening within a fraction of a second. All right.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. I did a little research. So it's not illegal. It's not illegal. What we're seeing here is the ugly side of capitalism, where a secondary market is created because an item is so
In demand.
in demand and hard to get. So, yeah, it's a difficult situation, man. It's a difficult situation. And I think personally that the retailers, they have to come up with like anti-bot measures that actually work. Because currently the ones now don't work, right?
Well, if they're using any,
If
because
they're
I
using
mean,
any.
if you look at retailers, especially on something like and even an application,
Yeah.
there's no CAPTCHA or other kind of third party um, identity proving software of any kind,
Yes. So
which would slow down any kind of bot.
yes. So my whole thing is retailers. It's on you to secure your stores from bots. I know you're going to get money either way, but the customers are getting a shitty deal right now. Like real customers, you know?
Yes.
Um, so yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation, and it's an unfortunate side effect of capitalism, you know? And it's not illegal. It's not illegal. The only time it's illegal is if a specific law is made. For example, you can't scalp tickets outside of a baseball game, right?
Yes,
That's
you can't.
because of specific laws. Yeah. And you can't scalp.
Stop people from doing it.
Yeah, it's hard to stop people from doing it. You also can't scalp emergency equipment in a time of emergency. That's,
Yeah, just like
yeah.
the guy that bought like a lot of hand
Yes.
sanitizers
Yeah.
early on in the pandemic
Yeah.
and was keeping it from hospitals.
Yeah. That's also illegal. So, all right. Next up. All right. Capcom is releasing a mini arcade console, and it's packed with Mega Man and Street Fighter games. Now, here's the thing that bothers me. These things are cool and all, but they're very pricey. So this one is selling for around $210.
Oof.
So that's
I mean, it's
pricey,
made of
right?
gold. Like, what the hell?
Well, let's look at the games here because the games are actually really good.
Yeah, but $210 good?
No, 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 no. You got Mega Man, the Power Battle, Mega Man 2 Power Fighters, Mega Man X, Mega Man Soccer, Mega Man and Bass, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. So,
So wait a second, I just want to make sure. Isn't it Mega Man and Bass? I thought it was Bass the entire time.
I
It's
mean, it's
Bass?
spelled Bass, so I just call it Bass.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it is Mega Man Bass, but it looks
Because
like
Bass is
Bass, doesn't it?
well, Bass is spelled the same way because it's a musical term.
Oh, yeah, true. Um, yeah,
But
so,
I was just asking because I thought I've always known it as Bass. I
okay,
apologize.
my bad. Mega Man and Bass.
No, no, no. I thought it was no. I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, if you know what it's pronounced, leave a comment below and
Yeah,
let
let
us
us know.
know.
Correct.
Um,
Correct.
so yeah, that's a steep price, man. That's a steep price. Um, but damn it, I'm a sucker for those little things, man. But it is Japan only release, so
That didn't stop you from getting the Sega Game Gear Mini.
yeah. Which, by the way, doesn't hold a candle to the Super Mario
Nintendo.
Bros. Game and Watch. That thing is awesome. All right.
Have you been playing it at all?
Oh yeah, I play it almost every day.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I still have yet to open it. Actually, I'm gonna just show it right now. Not even opened. Still in its
Open
packaging
it,
because
man.
it's so pretty. I
Enjoy
don't want
it.
to open.
Enjoy it.
I'm enjoying it just the way it looks.
All right. So next up, this is something we talked about. I'm gonna have to pause this because I'm not allowed to play. I'm gonna link this video for everyone. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so Modern Vintage Gamer explains how good the Xbox Series S is at emulating almost every retro game console on the Retro Arch. All right. So this is a great video. I recommend everyone to watch it. And so yeah, how did it change your opinion of the Xbox?
Well, I mean, I was already into the Xbox no matter what. I was gonna get the Xbox Series
Hmm.
X because I have so many Xbox games. And arguably it is the more powerful console, though there have been recent reports that multi-platform games have been playing better on the PlayStation 5,
Yes.
even though the Xbox Series X on paper is the stronger
Yeah.
console. But that being said, I've always enjoyed playing third-party games on my Xbox, and I also enjoy the controller better too
Yeah.
because of the staggered joysticks.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is just, makes it even more cool,
Yeah, it does, right?
especially since it's able to play more old school PlayStation games than the PlayStation 5 is capable of. It's so
Yes.
funny.
It has more backwards compatibility with PlayStation than the PlayStation 5. That is
It's insane.
insane. Um, so
But how about you? Does it change your opinion at all? Especially since you actually had an Xbox One and then you sold it.
yes. Yeah, it does. I didn't know it had the dev mode. Um, so for those of you that aren't aware, it has two modes. It has its standard mode, which runs the Xbox system, and then it has a dev mode where you can load UWP apps on, and there's a UWP version of RetroArch,
What is UWP?
Universal Windows Program, I believe. I could be wrong, but
Let us know in the comments.
um, so basically, what he did was he loaded the UWP version of RetroArch, and then he loaded N64, GameCube, Dreamcast, and they all ran beautifully. PlayStation, and soon it's going to have PlayStation 2 games. So,
The,
yeah,
the,
man, I think it's
the
awesome.
real ball kicker is going to be when PlayStation 3 is on there. If PlayStation 3 is capable of running on there, that's going to be impressive.
Oh, dude, freaking! I just want to pack away my PlayStation 3, man. It's just so big. I mean, it's smaller than the PS5, though.
The PlayStation
but
5
it is a big
is a
boy.
beast.
It is a beast. So yeah, check out that video. Heck, it might just change your mind if you're trying to get a new console. So I wanted everyone to be aware of that because I think it is freaking awesome. All right, so next up, did you see the Red Dead Redemption thing?
No, I did not.
So
This is news to me.
basically, Red Dead Redemption: The Outlaws Collection appears to be a hoax. So essentially, there was some screenshots. These ones right here. So let me just kind of go over these screenshots
Red Dead Redemption 1?
and 2, and
Okay.
they were supposed to be released in a collection for next gen, but some internet sleuths have uncovered some Photoshop tampering. So it looks like these were just a Photoshop attempt to hoax people. Now, as far as I know, as of when I read this, Rockstar Games has neither confirmed nor denied the existence of this. But knowing Rockstar Games and knowing how they've had Grand Theft Auto on life support all these years, it wouldn't surprise me if they did make something like that, to be honest.
Well, one thing, and I could be completely wrong, but from what I understand, Red Dead Redemption is actually a special case. It never came out on PC.
No,
It's
yeah.
only on Xbox 360 or PS3. And the reason being is that they use some kind of black magic and duct tape in order to make that game work. And they haven't been able to even make it for the PC. They haven't been able to make a PC version of it. So even porting it to these newer systems, I mean, they haven't even made it for PlayStation 4, Xbox One.
Yeah.
Though I'm pretty sure you can just pop in your disc and play it there.
Exactly.
But
you can play the backwards compatible.
yeah, well, not on PlayStation 4. Maybe the digital version.
Okay.
Or PlayStation Now version, but for Xbox One, yes,
Yeah.
it's backwards compatible that way. But yeah, from what I understand, they did some kind of coding trickery that just barely made the game work as it can on the systems that it was released on, and they haven't been able to replicate it for PC.
Okay. Okay, I wasn't aware of
I
that.
understand. I could be completely wrong. If anyone knows that knows better, then please let us know.
Yeah.
But so even then, just having that come to newer consoles, I'm actually interested to see why then come out the PC as well.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean that those screenshots appear to be a hoax.
Okay.
So we'll see if they can figure it out. I'm sure they would like to port it to as many places as possible, and it would be
Red Dead Redemption was incredible.
It would be awesome to play Red Dead Redemption on PC, man. That's a game that needs to be on PC.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is on PC, isn't it?
Yeah, but you said the first one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this week, everyone. Like I said, I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy hanging out, playing some games. Thanks, Josie, for joining this week.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and keep gaming, everyone.
Yeah, take care.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening to this episode of Games I Speak. If you liked the episode, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.